right, so I'm just making a little update video about the stock market as it is. And there's been a number of things actually happening. First of all, it appears to me that the war that is currently going on between Russia and Ukraine, it seems to me that it is starting to wind down, but it also appears to me that America doesn't want it to wind down and is doing everything they can to keep the conflict growing. So that means that they're shipping weapons. They have Europe shipping weapons to Ukraine, and they're basically keeping this going longer than it otherwise would have. Let's not lie to ourselves. If it wasn't for the fact that America is sending Stinger missiles and Predator drones, and they're sending Switchblade drones, and if it wasn't for the fact that you've got Europe sending law anti-tank missiles and whatnot to the Ukraine would have already pretty much been taken over. Now, Russia has been slow and they've been methodical with their attacks, like a chess player would be. They're not rushing in there to just blow stuff up, not like I would have, because if it was up to me, I would have gone straight to the capital. I would have flattened the place, and then I would have worked my way back. But the Russians don't think that way. They've been doing their best, actually, to avoid civilian casualties where they could. Now, you'll never be able to avoid civilian casualties in the cases where the opposite side purposefully put civilians in your path to make it so that when you do manage to kill them, you end up being the big, bad, evil guy on the news. It's a bad photo op. It's really bad for optics. So all that said, the bottom line is it appears that America is doing what they can to prolong this conflict. They won't enter it directly. America will not allow Poland and other countries to sell Ukraine Russian aircraft and fighter jets. They won't even allow that. And the reason why is because they know that that is going to end up being direct conflict between America and Russia, because they'd have no way except to take off from NATO and then fly into the Ukraine and land wherever they could in Ukraine. They'd have no way to do that without drawing NATO and USA into a direct war with Russia. So the thing about it is there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of games going on. And I should also say before I get started, I really, really want to send a shout out to the news channel we own. And I've mentioned this in my community chat. This is one of the few news stations where I've gone there where it actually seems that it's news neutral, where it actually seems that they're reporting both sides. YouTube blocked one of We Own's videos and tried to shut them down simply because they did the one thing that you don't see MSNBC, CNN, or Fox News doing. They actually did the one thing that you don't see them doing. When you hear Zelensky speak, everybody hears it. Zelensky's got a fucking translator. When you hear anybody else on Ukraine side speak, all of them got fucking translators. You know exactly what they're saying, and it's being fed to you basically live. This guy comes on to Congress, and he addresses the nations of the world live, and he's got a fucking translator. Meanwhile, here's a very simple question I have for you. When's the last time that you heard Putin say anything? When's the last time that you heard any of his defense ministers say anything where it was live and you had translators and every single thing they said, you were basically giving it just... See, here's the problem. And We Own, I gotta say, in this video right here where they took on YouTube and won, I gotta say, these guys, it's an Indian news station. They got nothing to do with American politics. I absolutely like that. When I go overseas, like, keep in mind, I'm about to go to Dubai and I'm about to go to Maldives, right? And I have videos coming where I'm going to be shooting videos from those places. When I go overseas and I see how the news is different and how they report on things, yeah, granted, everybody has biases. India versus Pakistan, the Kashmir region. Yeah, We Own talks about that. You'd expect them to be biased on that, right? But the thing about it is when you see international news and how they're talking about America or how they're talking about other countries, it's totally different. If you're going to be a news station, you're supposed to give me both sides of the story. That means that I should be able to listen to the other people express their grievances and express their concerns. Even if they are warmongering pricks and whatnot, I should be able to hear what they have to say. This fucking shitty news shit here in America makes it so you can't know what the other person is saying. Where is the translators? Where are the live feeds? You don't get anything over here. Fuck this. So my bottom line is, I turn to alternate news stations because I know MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News are all fake shit news. For example, Hannity versus Gabbard. And you know what? Hillary Clinton was trying to call Gabbard a fucking Russian plant. Everybody who goes against them is automatically a Russian plant. Now, mind you, these are actual socialists who are in office. Everybody who goes against them is now a Russian plant. Tulsi Gabbard, who I really don't listen to regularly, went up against Sean Hannity, and Sean Hannity is showing this Fox News pro-Ukrainian, pro-Zelensky, this attitude, this bias on that side. And she openly comes out and says it, and I guess it has something to do with the fact that she's not really here in America. She's in Hawaii. Now, I know somebody's going to say, hey, yeah, well, Hawaii's part of America. Guess what? Hawaii and Alaska are nowhere near America, period. And because they're not here, the people there think differently. The people there are more multicultural, more multinational, especially the ones who are in Hawaii, because there are more people in Hawaii than there are in all of Alaska. Alaska's got like less than 700,000 people. I have more, if I walk, 3 miles in one direction, there's more people here in New York City than there are in all of Alaska. So I don't really listen to Tulsi Gabbard. I've never really listened to Tulsi Gabbard, but when I saw her have this conflict, or whatever you want to call it, with Sean Hannity, I was like, you know what? She's absolutely right. She's like, if you listen to it yourself, you tell me what you think. Because the thing about it is, I'm sick and tired of these fucking shitty-ass news stations. They call themselves news. All of these motherfuckers need to be pulled down. It's nothing more than editorial caricatures of what real news should be like. This is garbage. It's trash. We've seen it for the longest. CNN, MSNBC, if it was up to me, Rachel Maddow, all of them would lose their jobs. All of them. I'd replace them with regular people who've got nothing. Like, they would just tell the fucking truth, or they would tell it objectively. But this is what you get. So now everybody in my country is stupid because they either listen to one or the other. And if they listen to one or the other, then it's just like, for instance, I was watching well, I didn't really watch the hearings on this Supreme Court justice, because basically I already know she's going to get the job. And even though I'm digressing right now, but the thing about it is, these Democrats are acting like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. How could you question this woman? Oh, you're just scared because she's black and blah, blah, blah. It's like, excuse me, did you just watch what happened to the last 3 Supreme Court nominees from the other side? They came right out and accused Kavanaugh of being a rapist. Buried deep in my hippocampus, I seem to remember somebody jumping on top of me. And I'm listening to this bullshit, and I'm like, you mean to tell me all of these years go by, and you can just come out of fucking woodwork like lice or like worms, and you can just accuse somebody of this? You've got no fucking evidence. You got no physical evidence whatsoever. But buried in my hippocampus, he rolled all over me and he held me down. And I'm like, you can get away with it. Where is she now? Where is she now? So, bottom line is, they treated the last couple of nominees like shit. And I remember when I was young enough to remember when Clarence Thomas was there, and we had the Anita Hill hearing. Every single one of these motherfuckers gets accused of being a rapist. And if it's a woman and you can't accuse her of being a rapist, now all of a sudden she's a Catholic demagogue or some shit. I'm like, you mean to tell me this is what my country has come down to? A bunch of stupid fucks running it into the ground? I don't watch my language. I want you to understand just how disappointed and upset and disgusted I am with this system. Honestly, I hope this fucking system burns to the ground, honestly. Really, I do. But I don't even really have to hope on it. There's a law called entropy. It seems to be happening. Biden's going to get himself a one-term presidency. He's not going to be there much longer. And then we'll have to move on to the next asshole. But we're still left with all these Congress people who keep their jobs because it's a representative democracy, so people are going to keep voting for them. But most of these people are so partisan, they're not getting anything done that's helping the American people. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. The news is to blame for most of this. It really is. The way we get our news, the mere fact, and it's sad because they showed you just how fucked up this situation is just by showing you how they can cut off, like, what is it, boycotting Russia companies. When they show you that they can cut off your bank accounts and cut off your credit cards, and they show you that all of these companies and multinational corporations, when they show you that all they got, that they think that they can just turn their back on a nation of 144 million people, and they think that they can just cut off your access to the rest of the world and shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Whatever happened to all that talk about globalism? What happened to all that talk about making everybody a single country and tearing down borders and all that? What happened to all that? Well, they showed you what happened to all that. As soon as you step out of line, automatically they turn you into a terrorist. Automatically, you're the evil person or you're the evil country. You're turned into a terrorist. And then you have Facebook, which I fucking hate, allows violence against Russians. So you have shitty ass fucking Facebook. I hope Zuckerberg loses all of his money. Eventually, everything goes to zero anyway. But here you got the situation where just because you're not on their side, now they can allow shit to go down. They can allow violence and posts against you. Really? This is a shame. And you know who I really blame? I blame the people for allowing this shit to go on. See, one thing I do like about this whole boycott shit, Facebook, Instagram, Google, all these people who claim they're cutting off ties with Russia. The one thing I like about it is that now the Russian people are going to get their own. And then they're going to be completely cut off from the bullshit going on here. Because you got to understand, these tech giants, Facebook, YouTube, Google, Instagram, which is part of Facebook, all of these tech giants, there is a war to get into your access of your phone. They want access to all your records. They want access to all your documents. They want access to everybody you know. And once they have into your personal life, they can come up with all types of bullshit about you. They know exactly who you talk to. They know. This is worse than anything that they used to talk about, where they used to say all of our personal information is stored on a computer and stuff somewhere in Nevada and it knows everything. No, that was never true. But now it's true, and it's not Nevada. It's Facebook and fucking Instagram and YouTube. See, the problem is, and YouTube showed you too, the Russian YouTubers have nothing to do with fucking Putin. Even the ones who come out with a pro-Russian stance, that's called freedom of speech. So just because I happen to be in a country that is invading or destroying another country or whatever, you mean to tell me that my ability to talk to the rest of the world by your channel automatically gets cut off because your platform decides that you don't want to hear what I have to say, or you want to make it so that the truth is limited to the lies that are told by just a couple of media news giants? This is the canary in the coal mine right now. That's what you're really witnessing. The canary in the coal mine is there to signal you when the noxious gases and radiation builds up in the coal mine. It's time for you to get your ass into gear and get your ass either out of there, or you better do something, because otherwise the rest of you are going to die. This is the canary in the coal mine. You all need to watch out, because if they come for these Russians now, they're coming for you next. But then again, they were always coming for you. So in the news, as I said, I believe America is using this war for its own advantage. They can't blame COVID for why everything's fucked up anymore. They can't blame COVID. So now the next best thing, oh, well, if we can't blame COVID for why everything's fucked up, the environment's fucked up, the, what is it called? The economy's fucked up. If we can't blame COVID, then what will we do? Oh, we're going to blame Russia for it. So now they got these stories running how Putin's war in Ukraine hurts us all. I don't even need to read this bullshit to you. You can look on Yahoo Finance. I'll give you the link. You can read it yourself. But the bottom line is, this is what they're doing to show why things are happening, when the reality is things are happening the way they're happening. Inflation is up, 40-year highs. Gas prices, I just paid fucking $4.75 a gallon a little while ago to put in my truck. And they're trying to blame all that on Russia. They're not gonna talk about the fact that even before the Russian conflict, gas prices were already way too high for winter, partially because America's basically made enemies out of all of the countries that could be helping to supply oil. Not only that, they've been doing their best to get people in countries where they could be supplying oil to turn off their spigots. Like Germany has a pipeline. Russia's obviously got pipelines. They've been doing their best to shut all that shit down. The Keystone XL pipeline, Donald Trump, regardless how you feel about him, he was doing his best. He was basically like me. He was like, you know what, fuck this shit. Let's make it so that we make as much money as possible and make shit as efficient as possible. But the problem was, the liberals ganged up on his ass because he was calling them idiots and retards and this, that, and other, just like I would. Because I tell you, Donald Trump is a choir boy compared to me. Because if I came out and I had the kind of power that the presidency has, I'd be shitting on these people, literally. But bottom line is, you know, I don't have that kind of power. But they've already shown you exactly what they'll do. In fact, not only did they show you what they can do when they gang up on you to Russia, they showed it to you when they did it to Trump. Twitter cut off Trump's Twitter feed. That was where it started. Patrice O'Neal, if you haven't watched it, because I keep digressing because I fucking love digressing. Patrice O'Neal explains Hollywood. You need to watch, if you've never watched this video before or listened to this before, you really need to. In that video, there's a part where Patrice basically says that when this system gangs up on you and you owe, you're absolutely fucked. And once they gang up on you, it allows nobodies to jump onto the pile and to pile up on you a little bit more. They cut off Trump's Twitter feed. I think they shut down his Facebook. They shut down his YouTube. Now here you got the president of the United States of America, which, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, they had every right to do it because they are private corporations and whatnot. But the thing about it is, there was a combined, concerted effort by all of these tech giants and tech companies and banks and Justice Department. There was a concerted effort to go after this person. Now, there's a concerted effort to go after Russia. But here's the thing. It only lasts as far as America, because America, I really think, if you're playing chess, America really fucked this one up. Russia has gas. Russia has oil. Russia has coal. Russia has China. Russia has BRICS. You know what BRICS is? BRICS stands for India, or I'm sorry, I should have started with Brazil. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They, BRICS, are basically creating, it says right here, NATO versus BRICS. And this is, all of this is reporting is old. They are basically creating a conglomerate of countries that are much more powerful than the United States of America when it comes down to anything but warfare. See, America, well, first of all, when it comes to warfare, you're basically just going to go straight to the top of the list. You're going to talk about nuclear weapons. China and Russia got nuclear weapons just like America does. Their aircraft aren't that great as America because we spend all of our fucking tax dollars on aircraft and Boeing and Lockheed, Raytheon. But the reality is, when it comes down to trading partners, BRICS is basically an unbreakable trading partner group. And America thinks that it can sanction Russia off the face of the earth, but what they don't seem to realize is Russia's got China, Russia's got India, Russia's got Brazil, and Russia's got South Africa. When it really comes down to it, 144 million people aren't going to be silent, and they're going to keep on doing what they do, regardless what you say or think about it. That's the reality. It's funny because we have a lot of Russian people here. I can't tell the difference between a Russian and a Ukrainian or a Polish person or Czech or Slav. I don't know the difference between any of these people. The only way we even know that they're here is because we know that they live in Brighton Beach. We don't know who these people, we don't know anything about these people beyond the fact that they're here. And the reality is, I've noticed that these people have been really, really silent, but the reality is silence speaks louder than words. And ultimately, these groups are going to get together and they are going to piss all over America. Like Vladimir Putin says, guess what, motherfuckers? Oh, you want to decouple Russia? Well, guess what? Now you got to pay me in rubles for fucking, what is it? Putin demands payment in rubles. I mean, this guy's a fucking troll. Either he's a troll or a really good chess player. He says, guess what? Oh, motherfuckers. Oh, you think you're going to just tell me to shut the fuck up and shut up? No, fuck that. You're going to pay me in rubles. How about that? It's incredible. It's like these stupid virtual signaling liberals in this stupid country, they think that all you got to do is just shut somebody up, and they think that's the end of it. It's not the end of it. My man Putin's up there sipping this champagne just like I'm going to be doing on that Emirates A380 flight. Sipping champagne from takeoff to touchdown, and he's laughing at you. He's like, yeah, guess what? You want some oil to heat your house? I don't give a fuck if it's negative 20 degrees. You're going to pay me in rubles. How about that? This guy literally said, you're going to pay me in ruble. Says Vladimir Putin plans to force unfriendly countries, i.e. United States of America and Britain, to pay in rubles for Russian natural gas. How about that shit? Some have said his plan is a breach of contract. He don't give a fuck. You know what's funny? When this first started, people were telling me, oh yeah, well look what we did to Russia's economy. We killed 10,000 troops in 2 days, and we're fucking up Russia's economy. I was like, honestly, I don't think that's true. And number two, I'm pretty sure he doesn't give a fuck. And he's like, yeah, you can cut off your McDonald's and your Starbucks. That shit was giving us diabetes anyway. I don't give a fuck. You're going to pay me in rubles, bitch. 6 experts shared their thoughts on Putin's well-timed announcement. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty well-timed. Ahead of a key EU summit. Because I think we're trying to get rid of Russia out of the G8. And I think that they're trying to kick Russia out of like all of these groups that have gotten together. But I don't think Russia gives a fuck, though. I really don't. It isn't clear yet whether Russia has the power to unilaterally change existing contracts. Let me tell you what's coming. Now we get to the part where we're really talking about stocks, because it's clear to me. First of all, and I talked about this a while ago when I was talking about China. China, to its credit, and because I've gone over this so many times, China, to its credit, realized the threat of America and these bullshit tech companies a long time ago. China realized that these companies were making its kids stupid. I did this video right here, and I was talking about how China had come up with solutions that they were basically going to use to make sure their kids don't end up as stupid as your kids here in this country or in Europe. They don't want their kids turning into fucking morons. Like, for instance, this story is going to keep coming out, and it's crazy because this is so important, but nobody's paying any attention to it. Boys are dropping out of college. Bill Maher on his show last night, he was talking about the fact that we're not having much sex anymore. He was saying that Americans are low testosterone, Europe's low testosterone. These liberal, feminist conquered countries are low testosterone. The males aren't having sex anymore. They're sitting in their bedrooms playing video games. They're not learning how to be men. They're not learning how to do anything. They're not learning how to work with their hands. They're not learning anything. And they're just sitting down playing fucking video games in between live streaming on YouTube. China realized that. And what China did was China was like, you know what? We're not going to allow America and these fucking tech companies like Facebook and Instagram. China cuts that shit the fuck off. You know, and one thing I got to appreciate about China is China basically, they got a switch for Google. And they basically like, yo, listen, if you say anything anti-China, we're going to cut that shit the fuck off. Like, I lived in China. I lived in Shanghai. And I lived there for a while as a student. I was learning Chinese. I was learning business. And when you turn on a Chinese television, they got that CCTV 8, CCTV 9, these different channels, but it's all controlled by the government. You don't see sex. You don't see violence. Every single show was like either watching Smithsonian Institute or watching Channel 13, or it was like watching The Cosby Show if there was a sitcom. It was like watching The Cosby Show. They only showed the good about their country. Now, a lot of people be like, but that's not free speech. Well, guess what? Free speech turns you into fucking idiots. Now, China bans children under 16 from live streaming. So you got all these kids here. And in this country, these kids can't sign their name. They don't know Roman numerals. They can't do shit. They can't do anything. Go find a random kid and ask him to do something. Ask him. Ask him to do anything that has nothing to do with sitting at a computer and playing games, and see what you get. See what you get. Say, hey kid, could you I don't know, clean this bathroom, or could you I don't know, vacuum this carpet, or could you I don't know, paint this this wall right here? Like here's some paint and a paintbrush. Can you do that? I don't know how. I don't know how to paint. Oh, wait, are you supposed to put the paintbrush in the bucket? China said, you know what, we're not going to allow America to turn our kids into fucking morons. We're not going to allow it. And it's really funny. I think back when I was a kid, my grandparents, they would watch me and my sister. We were playing video games like Game Gear and Game Boy. And they would, my grandmother would listen to that shit. And she'd be like, you know what? Those games are turning these kids dumb, but at least the music sounds good. And that's exactly what she said. And now, fast forward, you've got parents who are wasting their money buying their kids cell phones that they shouldn't have. Half of these kids are either bullying each other or killing themselves because they're getting bullied. Because they don't understand that if somebody's bullying you on the internet, to just turn it off. Just push the power button, God damn it. They don't get it. they don't understand. If somebody tries to bully me, like on YouTube, basically, and some of you know this, I'll basically return fire and be like, you know what, fuck you, you stupid poor idiot, and then I'll block them. But the rest of these people, for some reason, these kids, they think, you know what, let me go, somebody bullied me on the internet. Let me go get some rope and find a ceiling fan so I can hang myself. I'm like, what? You mean that's where we got? So bottom line is, China, Russia, a number of other countries too, have basically cut America off. They don't let you have Facebook. They don't let you use Instagram. They don't want their young women turning into hoes on the internet. They don't want that. So they cut all that shit the fuck off. I have to respect that because they are looking out as a government. They're looking out for their people. If your government is not looking out for the people, then what the hell point is there of having it? So I made this video a while ago on October 4th. China banned a lot of shit. Like they said, first of all, we're not letting any effeminate gay males be on television because we don't want our boys growing up like that. Meanwhile, in America and Europe, you got low testosterone, and you have these teenagers and these young adults are having less sex than ever before. And then you know what that causes? That causes the population to age. That causes fewer births. You know, we're going to end up like that movie Children of Men, where a screaming baby catches everybody's attention because they ain't never seen a baby before. Like they're bewildered when they see somebody who's pregnant, and they're bewildered even more when they see a screaming baby. That's what's going to happen to Europe and America because we already know birth rates are declining. We already know our productivity is down. I mean, I can't say it any better than that. But see, I'm just a voice screaming out from the wilderness. China and Russia are countries that are able to just flick a switch and do something about it. See, I can scream and yell and fucking curse all I want, but that's not going to move the needle. And somebody will be like, yeah, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, the reality is there's not much I can do about it, but one thing I can say is that these other countries, they're like, fuck that shit. Let's do something about it. When they say it, they get it done. I appreciate that. I really do. All I can do is call attention to it. But that's just where we are. So anyway, I didn't even know I was going to divert that much, but I did, because this whole thing about global economy, see, a lot of people keep asking me, well, where should they be putting their money in order to make more money? In order to improve their stock market returns. Like I was with this chick earlier today, and she was like, oh, Google and Amazon are doing that split. Yeah, how much is it right now? And I'm like, well, first of all, it's obvious to me that you don't have a plan for your money. You don't have any plan. You think that all you got to do is just take a couple of dollars here and there and just throw it into the market, and you think that you're just going to get rich overnight. The same thinking from these cryptocurrency people who can't understand why, despite all the lies they've been told, Bitcoin isn't $100,000 yet. I've said it 100 times. There's like 20,000 cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is only one, and Bitcoin accounts for more than 40% of all the value of all cryptocurrency. Bitcoin may never reach 100,000 because most people have what's called index bias. They're like, wait a minute. Why should I try to buy a fraction of a fucking Bitcoin when I can buy thousands and thousands and thousands of Shiba Inu or Dodge Elon Musk or some shit? You're up against index bias. So if you think, and I told you this before, um, somebody I know showed me their cryptocurrency portfolio. They made the mistake of showing me their cryptocurrency portfolio. Like, I'm not going to name names, but they showed me their cryptocurrency portfolio. There was less than $5,000 in that shit. Now, all along, I had been trying to tell them where that they should put their money. When oil went negative, I kept trying to tell them, yo, listen, buy oil, buy oil! Nope. Oh, no. I want to put my money in Dogecoin because Dogecoin has big returns. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid? But anyway, hey, listen, it's your money. You do what you want. They made the mistake of showing me their portfolio. They had less than $5,000 in that account. It was a lot less than 5,000. I'm just going to say 5,000. Less than 5,000. So I showed them 3 of my portfolios. Specifically the one that I use on YouTube to teach people. And I just showed them, now you can take a look at this. This is my YouTube account. If you remember, I started with $5,000. I went long on oil. I made so much money on oil when it shot up that I was able to take money out of that, buy into Berkshire Hathaway B. I was able to buy Nvidia before the split. I was able to buy, Apple. But this portfolio doesn't represent the Apple shares that I bought in 2015. My Charles Schwab account shows that. But anyway, I was like, really, your account is really cute, your crypto account, but look at mine. So I showed them this. Then I showed them that I was getting dividends back. Like, for instance, this $132. This is dividend payment. And I was showing them, yeah, you know what? When I get dividends back, like you don't get off of crypto, I can take that money and do whatever I want with it. I can either reinvest it using the DRIP, the dividend reinvestment plan, or I can take this money and I can spend it. And they were bewildered. They were like, how did you make that much money? And then I showed them, because, guys, numbers don't lie. I'm going to Maldives in less than 19 days, flying Emirates A380, business class. I'm going to make videos of the plane in the business class, because, there's a lot of these Instagram whores who try to lie, and they try to make it like they're in business class. Meanwhile, they're really riding an economy, but they take photos in business class. Fuck that. No, I'm going to take video. You're going to watch me sipping. You hear that, the champagne? You're going to hear me sipping champagne in business class. Guess what? All of it paid for by stock gains. All of it paid for. Look how much, if I hit the sell button right now, I made $4,000 off of SM alone. That was just one oil stock. Now, I've been done sold out of TTI and CPE in order to help finance the rest of my portfolio. But look at the fucking gains. Look at the gains, bro. I can't lie about this shit. That's the reason why I use this portfolio. Most of these people won't show you their portfolios because they trying to cap. What is this? 2,135% gain on SM. 1,247% on TTI. 1,112% on SLC. I can't make this shit up. Like, the hardest part about being me right now is that some of my neighbors think I'm a drug dealer. When they see you pull into the yard, now, mind you, my house, there ain't nobody renting in my house. In this house right here, there ain't nobody renting. When they see you pull into your house with these cars, these different cars, when you're driving these cars, I don't even want to talk about what it is. But when you see these people, when these people see you driving up in your yard and they see you with these cars and shit, they think you're a fucking drug dealer. They think I'm a drug dealer. I've never broke the law like that in my life. I never did no felony. These people are like, wait a minute, what do you do for money? I was like, well, I cash fat checks. But y'all ain't trying to hear that. Y'all want to put your money in Squid Coin. Y'all want to put your money in Dogecoin. Y'all ain't trying to hear what I'm saying. Y'all not trying to hear what I'm saying. Y'all not trying to hear it. I am kicking ass in the market regardless what Russia's doing over there. But you know what? I keep digressing. Because this is so much fun. I'm going to try to end with this. Where should you be putting your money? First of all, if you've got student loans or you owe some massive credit card debt, you need to pay that shit off first, because whatever money you do earn in the stock market is going to be eaten up by high interest debt. So first of all, pay off your student loans. That's number one. Invest in yourself. Pay off your student loans. Pay off your credit cards. Keep them paid off. I've taught people many times. I have an 850 credit score. Why? Because I pay my bills every night. Some people are like, oh, well, you can just wait till the end of the month. Fuck that. No, I'm paying them every other day. As soon as the thing posts and say, hey, guess what? You spent this much money on your credit card. I'm paying them. Why? Because it builds your credit score. So with your higher credit score, it allows you better access to real estate. And real estate right now is the only true inflation hedge you have. Real estate values here in New York are sky fucking high. I bought both of my houses for less than $299, and right now both of them are worth over $600,000. Now, how does this relate to Russia? As I have explained to you, America is trying to decouple from Russia. I don't think it'll be easy for you to buy Forex trading stocks, but right now, you should look at the best performing Russian stocks that you can find that were doing well and do well without America, but do well based on Russia's connection to Europe or Russia's connection to Asia. And their gas and energy companies, I will say it like this, the ones that have bottomed out, the gas and energy, anything energy related, I wouldn't even focus on their clothing or textiles or any of that shit. I would focus on their energy stocks. I may make a video about Russian energy stocks where, you know, if you do Forex trading, maybe you might consider that. But the reason why I think about them is because they've bottomed out. All these countries need gas and oil. They're not going to freeze up in their house because they support Ukraine. In the reality, no matter how much you support Ukraine, not freezing to death in your house is more important than what's going on with Zelensky. That's the reality. Gas and oil are here to stay. Electric cars will only benefit from gas and oil because electricity is usually a byproduct of using gas and oil and coal. So the reality is, I may do a video to talk about Russian energy stocks if you're doing Forex trading. But the other important thing, tech companies in America are mostly cut off from Russia right now. Oil companies, energy companies are going to keep going up. I'm talking about the money I made in just these four. And I had more than this before, but I had to sell them in order to fund other things that I wanted to fund, not to mention a $6,000 trip with a $1,000 hotel stay, $7,000 fucking dollars to fly business class every single time I fly. So, bottom line is, when I cash out, if I were to knock off these right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is, what is this? What is this? Let me get a calculator. If I were to just sell these right now, which I'm not going to do, I'm going to wait till they go to the top of the market. 4248 plus 768 plus 1800 plus 1244. If I sold those right now, I walk away with $8,000. Guess what I'm thinking about? I'm gonna end with this because I've diverted all over the place. I don't even remember half the shit I said. I'm thinking about Bora Bora. I go to places where Americans don't go. First of all, when I go on vacation, I don't want to see Americans. I don't want to see them. Because number one, if there's a lot of Americans or foreigners around, they're going to raise their prices in order to reflect the money you've got. And they're going to rip you off. I actually like going places where there are regular people. Like regular people. Now I've got my eyes set on Bora Bora. So I've done Seychelles. I made a video on Seychelles. I'm about to do Maldives. I've already done Dubai. Where else did I go? Thailand. I did Bangkok already. I'm thinking about Bora Bora. So I'm going to these places most Americans can't figure out where this shit is on a map. And I'm thinking about this maybe for 2023 or 2024. And the reason why I think 2024 makes more sense is because I'd have to wait until Black Friday 2023 to buy a business class ticket, probably on Tahiti Airlines or something. I'm not sure who goes to Bora Bora because this place is way out there. This is like far. I think you got to go to like Tahiti Airlines or some shit or Hawaiian Airlines. I'm not even sure. But the bottom line is, I think that's where I want to go. And I've already estimated the cost for the flight to be about $6,000 round trip business because you have to take like 3 flights or something like that. And I think the hotel stays are actually pretty expensive. So I'm thinking about $2,000. So I think this might be a $10,000 trip. So you know what I need? I need these oil stocks to rise up a little bit more so I can get ready to sell them. So guys, while you're at the gas station pumping that $4.75 a gallon oil, and y'all are out there buying the last few remaining gas guzzlers that you can buy that got V8 engines and supercharged Heavys, I just want you to remember, you are helping to contribute to the Bora Bora Big Truck Series Review Fund. And we thank you. We thank you for every gallon of gas that you pump. You are donating some amount of money that I'm not sure how much it is to the Big Truck Series Bora Bora Fund. And I just want to thank you as much as I can possibly thank you because you are heroes.